What's up, guys? This is VinylicPuma, back with another Fallout 76 video, and today I wanted to talk about why I think Fallout 76 could potentially flop. Now, I'm sure there are plenty of other people that have done videos on this topic before. However, I wanted to wait a little while after the teaser and reveal to get a little more information before I started talking about this. Before we start, this isn't necessarily meant as an attack on Bethesda Game Studios, and is a video that is more meant to highlight what I think are some of the obstacles that I think Fallout 76 needs to overcome. I do think that there are a fair amount, and with this in mind, I am going to be suggesting some solutions where I think it's possible or appropriate. Otherwise, guys, let's just go ahead and jump in and discuss the first issue, which is really the most obvious, and that is how Fallout 76 is pretty inconsistent with the rest of the Fallout franchise. Now, I won't dwell on this for too long, and while I'm sure some of you will say that it is a spin-off and therefore you can't expect it to be like the other Fallout games, I do think that it's worth pointing out that we've got to remember that New Vegas was a spin-off, and it was ultimately more true to the other games in the series than Fallout 76 will ever be. The fact is, taking a franchise like Fallout, which is known for its strong single-player RPG gameplay, and turning it into an always online multiplayer title is a huge risk. While I'm sure Bethesda were aware of this risk when they initially planned out the game's design, there's a possibility that a lot of people may not even give this game a chance since it's not a single-player game. This isn't to say that Fallout 76 couldn't capture its fair share of new fans that are into multiplayer titles in general, but I do think it's important that Bethesda caters more to their core fan base. I think the ships have definitely sailed on having a single-player mode in 76, but I think this could be remedied if the game is much more friendly to single-player or solo players and doesn't make the habit of constantly locking players out of content if they don't have a large pool of friends just to play Fallout 76 with. We've heard about some solo perk cards, which is a good sign that they are trying to accommodate solo or single-player players. But the thing is that I think they need to do more of that, and really the focus of the game should skew towards single player rather than multiplayer and PvP. Something else we should probably talk about is the PC version and how 76 isn't going to be on Steam. While some of you may dismiss this as a complaint over launchers, I do think it's fair to say that the fact that Fallout 76 isn't on Steam could present some problems for the game. On the one hand, I get why Bethesda would avoid Steam, as they did have the most popular third-party title at release in 2015, and this fact is likely being used to justify that Bethesda has outgrown Steam, and like EA, Blizzard, or Epic Games, they should just forgo Steam's and make their own launcher. After all, as a business, they can make a lot more money, and they don't have to give Steam a 30% cut by doing so. However, from a gamer's perspective, I think it's fair to say that by not releasing on Steam, Bethesda is potentially reducing the player base, which means as the game starts to lose its population and die off, there will be that fewer players to go around. It's also worth pointing out that other AAA multiplayer publishers that have third-party launchers like Ubisoft owe much of their current player populations and potential sales numbers to simply just being available through Steam for purchase. Even if Ubisoft doesn't use Steam servers and has their own launcher, I'm sure that quite a lot more people bought Rainbow Six Siege simply because it was available on Steam for purchase. By not having 76 on Steam, you're losing out on the player base and potential buyers that Steam could provide you. While there are certainly other disadvantages to not having the game come out on Steam, I think the most pressing issue for the health of Fallout 76 as a game is that Bethesda is effectively reducing the potential player population of the game on the PC by not making it available on Steam. And if you ask me, the solution is simple, and all Bethesda would really have to do was just allow you to buy the game on Steam, but still require a third-party account. That way, Bethesda still gets control over the servers, while also making the game far more accessible to most people. Another issue that I think 76 is going to have to deal with is the mixed reception amongst the community due to the game's questionable marketing strategy. While I suppose you could argue that things may not be quite as bad as what we're seeing with Battlefield 5, where that game is losing out on pre-orders due to the controversy around adherence to historical accuracy, I do think that how Bethesda has handled Fallout 76's initial teaser and subsequent reveal at E3 has negatively affected the perception of the game. I keep harping on this whole thing because you have to admit that based on the initial teaser in May, we had no reason to believe that 76 wasn't going to be anything other than a single-player RPG spin-off of Fallout 4. To find that wasn't the case, we had to hear it from Jason Schreier of Kotaku, which was then confirmed by Bethesda during their subsequent E3 reveal. The fact is, Bethesda should have gotten out in front of this leak and been upfront and direct about what Fallout 76 was, sort of like they did about Rage 2's existence when the Walmart Canada leaks came out. By not doing this, Bethesda may have unintentionally hurt the game's reception before the game could even get off the ground. The only reason I suspect they even did this is because they wanted to sell 76 on the Fallout name and get the single-player fans on board. However, I think it's fair to say this strategy may end up backfiring and appears to have upset a lot of the single-player fans rather than intrigue them. The solution to this, and like I've said in some previous videos, Bethesda should just be more upfront about what the game is and properly manage expectations going forward. There's not much they can do about all of this now, but being more front about what the game is definitely going to help Fallout 76 going forward. The other thing we should talk about is Fallout 76's competition with other releases this year. As far as fall 2018 is concerned, there are 5 really big games that are coming out, which are Fallout 76, Black Ops 4, Battlefield 5, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and Red Dead Redemption 2. All of these games come from popular franchises from experienced developers, and to a certain extent, you could say that each game serves a different portion of the gaming market. However, one of these games, Red Dead Redemption 2, is predicted by MPD Group to be the best-selling game of the year, and is likely the reason why so many other games are releasing in Q1 of 2019. It's also worth pointing out that unlike most of its competition, Red Dead Redemption 2 has yet to have suffered from a major controversy surrounding its launch, and for the most part, people seem to be genuinely excited for the game. Plus, unlike Black Ops 4 and Fallout 76, there's going to be a single-player campaign in Red Dead Redemption 2, and unlike Battlefield 5, which does have single-player, Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't being marketed as historically accurate while possessing numerous historical inaccuracies. From a value proposition and considering single-player-only gamers for a moment, the choice between Fallout 76 and Red Dead Redemption 2 is obvious. One game clearly has some amount of single-player content, while the other will allow you to play solo. Not to mention that if Red Dead Redemption 2's multiplayer is anything like GTA 5's, there's already going to be a massive install base from GTA Online that's just going to migrate over and skip Fallout 76's multiplayer-only offering. Granted, everyone playing GTA 5 won't migrate over, but fans of GTA Online are probably more likely to purchase Red Dead Redemption 2 for the online rather than Fallout 76. Now, at this point, I don't think there's really a whole lot Bethesda can really do about this particular problem, but what I think they could definitely do is try to make the game as fun as possible, as bug-free as possible, and yeah. Ultimately, I think if this video has made anything clear, it's that Fallout 76 has a lot of things it's got to overcome. After all, the game has to overcome everyone's initial bias that it isn't single-player. It's got to overcome the fact that the game isn't going to be on Steam for PC users. It's got to overcome the issues with its own marketing, and it also has to overcome competition with other AAA titles that either offer single-player or offer both single-player and multiplayer. At the end of the day, and I suppose to answer the question posed in this video's title, I don't know if we can really say if we know that Fallout 76 is going to fail or flop or suck or whatever. But what I think we can say is, again, that this game just has a lot of obstacles that it's got to overcome. And, maybe it'll pull it off, and maybe it'll be an amazing game that we all like, or it's just going to be a game that Bethesda wants us all to forget within a year or two. I guess we'll see what happens, but until then, guys, I think that's going to pretty much wrap up this particular video. If you liked this video, feel free to leave a like, click the bell so you can be notified when I upload more videos, and as always, thank you all so much for supporting the channel. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.